The Global PR Summit in San Francisco is coming up, and with me is Shaun Sanders, who is the founder of the Global PR Summit, and also Theron McCullough, Venturist and Futurist, who will be speaking at the summit. And let's start with Shaun. Lay the groundwork. I mean, this is the first one, right? And why did you do it? And tell me about how it's all going to go. What's your mission?
Absolutely. So the PR Summit was birthed in 2010, and we ran it as an annual event in San Francisco from 2010 to 2016. And we brought together the best in class speakers from media, analysts, bloggers, and anyone that was in tech to really sort of unearth conversation and the pain points and ideas that were happening each year, because the conversation needed to happen for us to understand as PR people or communicators what was important to reporters and bloggers and on-air producers. We took a break, and then now, because AI is such a beacon, and we needed to bring something back and decode the concept of the digital living room. So the PR Summit is now back December 3rd and 4th, 2 days in San Francisco at Node 3. And we're really excited to have you as a speaker as well as Theron.
I mean, it's a fascinating, there's been so much change in this field as well as tons of other fields.
Absolutely.
Now, Theron, so I called you a Venturist Futurist. So explain what that is. What will your role be in the summit?
Yeah, so as a venture futurist, I've found since the early 2000s, I was probably 3-5 years ahead of these decisions and what people were doing. I was saying, things were in the app, 4 or 5 years before they came out, everything's been in the app. I was looking at taking multiple vectors to create latent semantic analysis, which is now AI today and things like this. So what I always look at is what is the future of AI? What is the future of venture, and how does venture fit into the whole ecosystem? Also, I view venture as a spirit of venture. So there's those that invest in it, the GPs and the LPs. There's the startups that they're investing in, and out of that, most GPs, LPs, or startups have some form of reinvesting into the whole ecosystem. So what does that mean as a whole? And then how do we move forward with venture, using venture as a leverage, as a tool, and how are founders now reacting to these new models that we have out that are coming out too.
Right. Oh, that'll be really interesting. So, Shaun, walk us through the 2 days. Like we know Theron is going to be speaking. What are some other speakers, some other topics? Will one day be different than the other?
Absolutely. So the idea is capital communications and AI shaping the future of influence, and this idea of this omnipresent living room. So day one is December 3rd, and we're going to be really sort of a private event with LPs, venture capitalists, family offices, really understanding this idea of the playbook and how this playbook drives market adoption and allocation and the messaging. And so AI is really it seems to be challenging that, because as things sort of go awry, with maintaining one's brand and things getting sort of misinterpreted in terms of messaging. So we're going to be unpacking that on day one, and that will then be facilitated by a group dinner and then a party at Almador, which is San Francisco's most deluxe private club. And then the next day we'll be at a full day conference unpacking different things. One of the pain points that we're seeing with cities is how are cities embracing AI from a strength positioning? How are we dealing with jobs? How are they embracing the different facility of that? So these are some of the conversations we'll be having on day 2, which is December 4th.
Okay, very exciting. So if they're explain, who would your talk be suited for?
I think mostly it's very interesting. I get inbounds from a lot of venture capitalists either starting a fund and saying, hey, I want to talk with you about starting this fund. There's a lot of conversations around the startups themselves and what is the role of the VC in my future and in my life. We've been asking startups to produce traction, to produce revenue before I will even cut them a check. Well, now if I can be the 3 of us can put together this AI tool and now we make $100K a year, do we need venture, or how do we use venture as a different tool now? And so I think that the scope of venture, the leverage that VCs had is changing. And what are they actually providing? What's the outstanding value? What is the service that they can give us that's even more than just a check? I provide? Is it community? Is it like community network driven? Is it, are you going to get in the end market? We had a conversation yesterday about A16Z and what is their horsepower? Their horsepower is they have this ecosystem so they can launch a product, but it's their whole ecosystem that helps drive it into the market. And that's a different value add than just cutting a check. I provide, is it community? Is it like community network driven? Is it, are you going to get in the end market? We had a conversation yesterday about A16Z and what is their horsepower? Their horsepower is they have this ecosystem so they can launch a product, but it's their whole ecosystem that helps drive it into the market. And that's a different value add than just cutting a check into a company, expecting them to go forth and flourish.
Because kind of the whole like dynamics of business has changed too. I feel like with venture capital and AI entering. Shaun, what, like in your ideal mind, what would you want people to walk away from having after this conference?
Well, there's different things, but we want to see how AI is shaping PR and investor relations. One of the things, from content creation, media targeting, reputational risk, analytics. And then there's other parts of it that are like, what are the tools that are going to make our lives easier in terms of business? There are everything from Opus, Oculus, this and that. So we're giving a deep dive at a high level of what's coming in 2026 as well.
Okay. All right. So again, the details, when, where, and what if somebody can't go to San Francisco? Is there a way they can pick up this content at a later date?
We will. So the date is December 3rd and 4th in San Francisco. People can check out prsummit.us for more information. And then we will be live streaming within the next month or two post-conference into the new year.
Okay. Well, I'm very excited about going and meeting people like Theron and just hearing all these cutting edge ideas. So it's very exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.